Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Today is Tuesday, June 16, 2026, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network on this Juneteenth week. Donald Trump's racist Justice Department is challenging a Chicago area housing reparations program. Well, the program is in Evanston, Illinois. We'll tell you all about that. Republicans say they need more information about the agreement between the United States and Iran, but even on Fox News, they're like, this deal is trash. We'll examine a recent poll that says nearly half of Americans voters identify as political independents rather than members of either major party. On The View, they challenge J.D. Vance about Donald Trump's blatant effort to erase black history from public spaces. Of course, he denied what was happening, well, because he's pretty much an idiot. The twice impeached, criminally convicted felon and con man in chief is hit with another lawsuit for his attempt to alter the National Mall again. This time, he wants to build a National Garden of American Heroes. A white Illinois man is charged with a hate crime for what he did to a 9-year-old child. Plus, a black New York man says he's suing after getting punched repeatedly during a routine traffic stop. And what the hell in Los Angeles? Neighbors complain about hearing a woman screaming. She was actually cheering for the Knicks. Cops bust in and shoot her dog. What the hell? In tonight's ShopBlackStarNetwork.com segment, we'll talk to the Look by Joy makeup brand that sets the standard for effortless, flawless beauty. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now. Martin.
Well, Donald Trump's racist Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division, is seeking to join an ongoing lawsuit against the Evanston, Illinois housing reparations program, saying it discriminates against people who aren't black. The local reparations restorative housing program in Evanston offers eligible black residents and their descendants $25,000 in cash payments or housing assistance. The program is available to black individuals who lived in Evanston as adults between 1919 and 1969, as well as their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Recipients of the funds can utilize them for housing-related expenses or receive direct cash payments. Federal officials argue that the program unlawfully allocates public benefits based on race and ancestry. Now, how many times have I said on this show that any reparations program was going to be challenged in court? And so for all these yahoos who support reparations, how many times have we told y'all that elections matter? How many times have we told y'all that federal judges matter? And now y'all about to see why. And so a whole bunch of these also folks who were touting Donald Trump, saying he was going to be good for black people, where y'all at? Mighty quiet. Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA, joins us from D.C. Randy Bryant, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and creator of The Truthing Game, also from D.C. Velma Anderson, creator of the Public Opinion Court, and author Shut Up and Prosecute from Dallas. Glad to have all three of y'all here. I tried to tell people repeatedly, Mustafa, that you were going to have legal challenges, and now you're seeing this. And this is an absolutely anti-black administration, so it's no shock if they would jump at the chance to be involved in this case.
Yeah, and that's why we continue to tell people your vote is tied, of course, to judges and judgeships, making sure that there are individuals that are in those positions that honor both the law, of course, but also the history of our country. You currently have an administration that never wants to deal with both the past and present impacts that are going on that are, there's a racial construct to it, right? People have made choices in our housing stock about where you could live. Everybody knows about, redlining and restrictive covenants and pushing people into certain areas and then, disinvesting in those areas, but also about not being able to purchase homes because you couldn't get a loan. All of this was built into policy. So once again, we see policy biting us. And that's why we've got to make sure that you have administrations for a number of generations in place to be able to make sure that we begin to address both through policy, through the courts, and of course, also, on our financing systems that understand what has happened in the past, the impacts that have been there, and then, of course, being able to move forward in a reparative paradigm. But this administration, of course, has no interest in that whatsoever. They try and make sound like, injustices, discrimination never existed, and that folks are just asking for something. The only thing that people are asking for is to be treated fairly and to be able to fully participate in a system without the biases getting into it. So when you don't understand all that, and when you tell people that you don't need to vote, or that you should vote for somebody, especially in the housing context, who has a long history of not respecting our community, then it says something about how you feel about Black folks, because we understand what's going to transpire when we put these types of people in place.
Randy?
I guess this administration has forgotten that the Department of Justice is supposed to be neutral. They're the ones that keep us all right and look at things from a point of looking of what's right and is going to serve the people. But Trump and his administration has used the Department of Justice as a personal arm to completely push their motives, their agenda. And their agenda, as you said, is to be anti-Black. And so it's unfortunate because, the Department of Justice was a place that we as Black people used to be able to look to get some sort of satisfaction, but we can't even look there anymore because, again, they have fired many people who were there for the right reasons and brought in the people who will hold up what Trump wants them to hold up. And so here we are with this administration who is very much trying to act as if history is not fact, as if Black people were once not enslaved, as if there weren't things like redlining, as if we could not, as if we could get loans fairly. They would try to act as if none of that existed, and we have all started out on a fair and equal plane, which we all know that's not the truth. So when you do that, when you try to erase history, as they actively try to do, you can say, oh, reparations are not needed. But we all know that that's not the truth. But that's what they're trying to do, and that's what they have done so far.
Yep, absolutely. So, listen, this is going to always happen. So we need to understand that. Let me do this here. Let me go to a break. I'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
I think I'm picking up on the other side.
Why am I hearing her?
Folks, let me tell you about chat.
We have a system that I paid for.
About to be. The system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
With medicine and science under attack, I want to keep you and your family informed and healthy. I'm Dr. Ebony Hilton, and I knew at the age of 8 that I wanted to be a doctor. So I studied hard and became the first African-American female anesthesiologist hired at the Medical University of South Carolina since its opening in 1824. And I always say I was made into a doctor, but I was born to be a mom. And as a new mom, wife, sister, daughter, and friend, I understand understand how frightening a medical crisis can be. I care for individuals on some of the worst days of their lives, and it's my mission to provide you with a safe space to gain clarity on issues affecting your mind, body, and soul. I recognize that there are health disparities, particularly as it pertains to race, and I want to help bridge the gap between you and your healthcare providers. Join me every Thursday for Second Opinion on the Black Star Network, where each week I'll invite experts from various medical fields to share the latest health news. We'll discuss topics such as the vaccine debate, mental and sexual health, medical bias, infertility, menopause, andropause, nutrition, and aging. Together with my medical colleagues, we aim to provide you with a second opinion. Don't miss it, Thursdays only on the Black Star Network.
So this is Roger Bob. I got a message for Roland Ascot Martin. Buddy, you're supposed to be hooking me up with some of these ascots that you claim to wear. Where's mine, buddy?
Hey, yo, Peace World. What's going on? It's the Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, so Donald Trump has been touting this Iran deal, which nobody has seen. And don't y'all remember when they were trashing President Obama, saying how dare he return $1.8 billion that was Iran's money to them. And in this Trump deal, they're talking about giving Iran $300 billion. $300 billion. Now, you know it's an awful deal when all of the right-wingers on Fox News hate it. Listen to this, y'all.
Funding is real. There's a $300 billion investment fund. Who cares where the money comes from? If it doesn't come from the United States, I get that. Of course it shouldn't. But it shouldn't come from anybody. I mean, when we recovered Germany and Japan, the Nazis weren't in charge. The Japanese imperialists weren't in charge. Here, the Iranians are in charge. The killers and thugs are still in charge. We don't give them that money because what are they going to do with it? They're going to recover everything we've taken away from them. Who cares whether it's coming from the Arabs, from the Qataris, or whatever? They don't get it. They shouldn't get any of it. That's just the reality of it. They're going to take that money and recover everything. And you know that, Sean. You know that you can't trust these people.
I don't trust the Iranians. I'm a trust but verify guy. But I heard the vice president say they don't get anything unless they do those things. They get nothing until they do something. It's not our money. And they never signed off, he said, on any deal for Qatar to give them a penny. Now, he said they would open the door if Arab countries want to invest down the road, but that's if they start fulfilling the promises that they're talking about having committed to. Listen, you know what?
Sean Hannity gonna sit here and kiss so much Trump ass, it's ridiculous. And he don't want to sit here and truly deal with this issue. But I'm telling y'all, it had me cracking up laughing. Listening to these various folks sit here. And not only that, here was a Fox correspondent admitting that, you know what, Donald Trump really was lying when he told the American people that we just totally destroyed the Iran military. Listen.
You hear what the president says. He says their Navy is at the bottom of the water. The Air Force is done. They've been degraded in missiles. However, we see Iranian missiles fire at U.S. bases and fire at ships. They're saying that the strait's going to be open completely. Iran says something differently in how they talk about it.
Yeah. They're talking about still controlling the strait. And so the question I think the president may be discussing with our G7 partners is whether we can independently control the strait ourselves going forward so that Iran cannot in the future extort us.
Anthony, yo, it gets better. I got to play a couple of more clips. I'm telling y'all, it's hilarious listening to these people. Listen to this one.
Yesterday, President Trump announcing the U.S. and Iran struck a historic peace deal yesterday aimed at ending the months-long conflict. The president revealing the U.S. will lift its blockade on Iranian ports as soon as the agreement is signed, and that could happen, we are told, as soon as Friday.
And General Jack King last hour weighing in on what comes next, including what we could expect with further nuclear negotiations.
Let's assume the ceasefire and the Straits of Hormuz work as described. And obviously we'll comply with the naval blockade. But the tough things are ahead of us. All of the issues surrounding nuclear, ballistic missile restrictions in terms of range, lethality, and volume, to be sure, and support for proxies.
Yeah, so they're announcing a deal, but they haven't negotiated the major stuff in the deal. Jessica Tarloff was jamming up J.D. Vance when he appeared on The Five, trying to explain this nonsense, and this got even more hilarious. Here we go.
As the Strait opens throughout the summer, so I think what Jessica really wants to say is thank you.
Jessica, do you want to say thank you?
Thank you for being here. It's very, very cool to have you with us, especially when we're discussing this topic that you're running point on. And I'm a little uncomfortable about what I'm about to do, but I've been amping myself up all day.
No.
So, no, it's not.
Call the Secret Service.
No, they're already here, like 50 of you. You know, there's been leaked versions of this MOU, not just in the Iranian press, in the Saudi press, the Pakistani press. The American press has gotten their hands on some details as well. You know, the Wall Street Journal has it that Iran can immediately sell oil and that they're going to get some sanctions relief right off the bat. That was something that we heard was not going to happen. So they have an incentive to get this going by Friday, and there's going to be money changing hands. In the copies of the MOU that we've seen, again, leaked, we have this $300 billion fund. And I saw you last night, you were with Sean talking about it. He said, well, it's not our money. It's, you know, Gulf nation money, our partners' money, but that's still a $300 billion payday, and that's something that they desperately want to have. The punting on the nuclear program for the 60-day negotiation, you know, that's the real tough stuff of this, right? Like, that's the meat of what we really need to get done. And you say the JCPOA, you know, didn't have anything about that. It's in the preamble of the JCPOA that Iran will cease all efforts to have a nuclear weapon and enrichment will be held at about 3%.
Well, they can't enrich now because they can't get the dust, Jessica.
Also,
Barack Obama never buried it.
Well, the vice president is here. Don't interrupt me, and then it'll be over really fast.
Okay. I wasn't interrupting him. I was interrupting you.
We all know that Jesse is an idiot. He has no business even having a substantive conversation. But let's just cut to the chase. Donald Trump is an idiot, and he got played. He is so stupid and such a horrible negotiator. What he did not understand was Iran controlled the most important thing, the Strait of Hormuz. All of these world powers, all of their resources and oil, not just oil, but also other ships, got to go through the Strait of Hormuz. So the reason previous presidents didn't kiss the ass of Netanyahu and attack Iran is because they understood it was a broader issue. But Donald Trump is so stupid and he's such an idiot that we've spent upwards of $30 billion on a war, and now we're waving the white flag, and we're now going to give Iran far more than what was negotiated under Obama. And Donald Trump has made it worse. Yeah, the art of the deal? No. This is called the art of the stupid deal, led by an idiot negotiator. There's no other way to put this. Randy?
You know, you talk about the book, The Art of the Deal. I was thinking about the book, The Art of War. And the first tenet for war is to know your enemy. But Trump and his cronies, Hegseth and them, they have this idea, this white male heroism, that they're going to go down and just take whatever they want to take. They did not realize who the enemy was and what they had in their control. So they lost the deal. And here we are in a worse position than we were before. Also, what Trump has suffered from is a complete obsession with former President Obama and destroying anything that he did, even if it was good for our country. So here we had a good deal, and this idiot goes in and has made things better for our enemy. So he is an absolute idiot that is run and fueled by jealousy and by ego.
You would think that if you have a deal, you would share it with congressional leaders like Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune. Well, the answer is no.
Order Chairman Cotton, you've been briefed by the administration on what's in this supposed deal on Iran. And from your standpoint, have any of the objectives that have been laid out at the start of this war by the administration been met?
Well, I think that for sure, in my view, a lot of the objectives have been achieved. Completely, I'd say eliminated, but certainly diminished in any way their nuclear capability. It's buried deep underground now, and obviously when it comes to their Navy, we've destroyed, I think the number is 161 ships. When it comes to their air defenses, if you look at their capabilities, ballistic missiles, production facilities, all those sorts of things we have done great damage, I would say, to Iran's ability to inflict terror and kill people in that region and around the world. So, yeah, I think they've achieved a lot of their military objectives, and the question now is whether or not the Iranians want to come to the table and be, participate in a Middle East that actually allows for an economy, a secure place for people to do business. And we're going to find that out soon enough, I think.
And as members of the Game Event, have you been briefed on what's in the memorandum?
I certainly have not yet, although we are requesting that, and I assume we will at some point hear from the administration with greater specificity about what's in that memorandum. We're all hearing in generalities what's been reported so far, but until I get more specific information, I'm going to hesitate to.
With greater specificity, Thelma, that means you don't know a damn thing.
This, instead of the art of the deal, this is art of stupidity. Because what we are seeing on a worldwide scale is when you hang around individuals like Trump, who's dumb. Trump is fundamentally dumb. And I wish people would stop making excuses for his lack of not only intellect, his lack of intelligence, his lack of everything. Because what Iran did was they took advantage of him, and he don't like it. He can't take it because they sat back. They were minding their business, kind of, like how black people be minding our business. They were minding their business. They were, on course to maintain the peace in this world. And Trump did what every white man do, go messing with people. And when you mess with the wrong one, you're going to find out. And not only that, when you have senators and representatives that are voted in by their people, and you are coming and you are feeding into the lies. They have fed into the lies so much now that we only trust hearing about updates from Iran. We don't even trust hearing it from America because, one, they are bought and paid for. They're going to spread the narrative that he wants. So we have to rely on Iran to tell us the truth about our country. That's when you know you done lost. We are the laughing stock of the world because we got the biggest joke to ever be in office, whether he won legitimately or he used SpaceX to go and manipulate the things up there in the sky that they don't want to talk about. So I am over them, and they are playing in our face about if there's a deal, if there's not. I'm just done. Like, can we put them on an island by themselves and they can feed and fest and do all the things that they do behind closed doors that is now coming out?
Mustafa, this is how dumb Trump is. Listen to this.
Front line, they were being shot at just about as much as anybody, but you were a lot closer because you were right there. Literally, I could walk in a minute. Every other place I have to take a plane, but I can walk. So they were really on the line.
Just be clear. Donald Trump said that he could walk from Iran to Qatar. No, they say I would have to take a plane, but no, I could easily just walk. No, you can't just walk from Iran to Qatar, because there's a big-ass ocean of water. Y'all see this right here? That's Iran. See where it says Iran? See where it says Qatar? You gotta walk across a big-ass ocean, Mustafa. This dude is so stupid.
Well, I'm not going to argue with the stupid part, but he also has a godlike complex. So maybe he thinks he has the ability to actually walk on water, which would actually be a whole lot of steps to get across there. I mean, we joke a little bit about this, but there's so much seriousness here, right? Because American soldiers have lost their lives, because American folks have had to pay the price for this war in all kinds of ways that we often talk about, everything from the price of gas to your food to a number of other things. The other part of this is that it has shown the disrespect for the system, right? So I remember when the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, people call it the Obama-Iran plan, but they don't understand, evidently, that all the work that went into that, right? So we talked about, we just saw the senator who was there when the previous plan was actually being put together. There were briefings, and folks who needed to know on Capitol Hill were a part of that. Then we also know that both the United Kingdom, Germany, the EU, and China and Russia were a part of that plan. So now you see Trump over the G7 actually trying to convince people to come on board when you have to do the work before. So all of that is necessary if you plan on having any type of success, if anybody can ever say that war is successful, because there are always huge losses when you have war. But this individual is not interested in that, because this individual is not interested in actually running our country in a way that helps to keep us safe, that helps to keep us prosperous, but also helps us to continue to have a presence across the world where people have some level of respect for us, which is now completely gone. And he finds himself in a situation where there is a midterm coming. So he is scrambling, trying to figure out how to get out of this quagmire that he's gotten the country into. And he also knows that there are a number of others who are now saying that I can't trust the United States, which places both our foreign policy and our financial policy in a very precarious situation. So yes, he's not the brightest. Yes, he is terrible at foreign policy. Yes, he is damaging to our economy, but he has also made it so that folks can't trust us. And if people can't trust you, they are never going to show up for you because they know you won't show up for them.
They also can't trust when you are dumb. That is Donald Trump. All right, y'all, going to a break. We come back. J.D. Vance goes on The View to promote his faith book. Let's just say a can of whoop ass got open against him when it came to the anti-black policies of Donald Trump. We will show you that exchange right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Fuck fan club. If you want to contribute, please, like via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. That's all for credit cards. Checks and money order, make it payable. The Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo RM Unfiltered. Zelle. Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Back in a moment.
All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
Hi, I'm Jo Marie Payton, voice of Sugar Mama on Disney's Louder and Prouder Disney Plus, and I'm with Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
Boy, that was a tense exchange on The View when J.D. Vance appeared promoting his faith book, which is also a joke. Whoopi Goldberg questioned him on how his faith impacts his political views in responding to the critics of the administration's policy toward black folks. And then Sonny Hostin, of course, and also jam him up. Let's just say he also ain't the brightest bulb in the dark room.
You come from a poor community.
Sure.
You know how hard it has been for people. Two things. You talk a lot about your Catholic faith, but the Catholic faith says we take in immigrants. We take in people who don't have or who are having a hard time. How do you justify both things?
So let me say first a couple things, Whoopi. So number one, the book is actually way less political than you might think if you were just watching this, because obviously we're getting into the issues of the day.
Right.
95% of the book is really not about politics. I kind of have to write about politics because I'm the vice president, but I want to answer your question.
Right.
So fundamentally, if you think about what is immigration enforcement, immigration is law enforcement. It's somebody who has broken a law. A law enforcement officer has to show up and enforce that law. Now, inherently, sometimes that process is not always going to be pretty if you capture a video clip of it, in the same way that if you arrest somebody for committing a violent or a nonviolent crime, sometimes it's not always pretty. What I'm saying is the Catholic faith is actually I think it strikes the right balance here. It says, the Christian faith, I think this is true of Protestants and Catholics, that you can have borders.
Yeah.
You're allowed to enforce your borders. That means the law enforcement piece of it. But you also have to take certain precautions and certain care, okay? And again, your argument is fundamentally, Whoopi, you're saying that we don't strike the right balance. I disagree with you about how we apply that, but nobody hopefully is saying we're not allowed to have a border.
No,
what I'm saying is that in order for us to actually enforce the law, you can't set a standard that says you're not allowed to deport anyone unless they've committed a violent crime. You've got to enforce the law equally.
So let me do my follow-up.
You don't have to raise your hand,
Let me do my
Joey.
follow-up.
Yes, I do.
Because you were talking about people. What did black people do to this administration that has allowed it to really stigmatize folks of color? And you know how hard it is. You have folks of color in your family.
Sure.
So when you see, things, the Emmett Till stuff coming down, or them doing all kinds of removal of information of black heroes, how does that sit with you?
Well, what exactly are you talking about, Whoopi? Because you just I know Emmett Till was the kid. No, I want to know what she's.
You don't know what I'm talking
to your
about.
actual point.
So in a lot of the museums, there's so many. Where they're taking down the actual history that happened in this country. Slavery happened. All kinds of stuff happened, and it seems that it has been very easy for this administration to remove that and also to denigrate black folks who have worked their behinds off to get this American dream. How do you, you know better.
So Sonny, that was actually a very helpful intervention, because I think the story you're talking about is where allegedly the administration is holding back the appointments of people based on skin color. I've seen the story.
I'm talking about a host of things. I'm talking about black history getting erased from public spaces. Black voter districts are being dismantled. Black leaders are being sidelined from our ranks. Where do Americans of color fit in this vision? Because it doesn't seem like we fit.
I think, Sonny, my view,
And if I may, since October of last year, there's been something like 6,668 refugees allowed into the country. All but 3 were white South Africans.
So, first of all, I'm very skeptical of that number because we have a lot of different immigration pathways in the United States of America. But let me just address Whoopi's point. Look, first of all, you asked the question, and maybe you don't believe this coming from me, but I think everybody is welcome in our political coalition. Frankly, even if you didn't vote for us, everybody is welcome in our country so long as you're an American citizen with the duties and the legal obligations and rights to be here. But Whoopi, let me just give you an example of this. Okay, so you say that we're anti-minority or anti-black.
No, I didn't say that. I asked. See?
Well, okay, fine. Fair.
Don't start any stuff with me, man. Don't get me in trouble. Don't start no stuff with me. But
I misinterpreted your question, but let me answer your actual question there. What I'm saying, I think, okay, look at Washington, D.C. One of the most democratic and one of the blackest, by a share of population, blackest cities in the United States of America, has seen a radical decrease in violent crimes and sexual assaults and in murders. We have tried to take the crime issue seriously, in part because we believe everybody, whether you're black or white or rich or poor, deserves to live in a safe neighborhood.
why does the crime? Where does the crime step in? This is not about crime. This is about
women lost their jobs.
Right. This is about
Sonny,
human rights.
what you're saying is we got to do more on the economy.
Black history has been erased from public spaces.
Black history is not erased from public spaces.
Guys, we do have to get to Iran when we get back. There's some very important news to get to.
I'm telling you, we celebrate Black history. We celebrate all American history in this administration. You guys might be skeptical of this, but I promise you it's true.
Y'all, he is a fucking liar. A liar. All this week, over the weekend, what have folks been talking about? Go to my iPad. Pete Hegseth removed a portrait of General Chappie James from the Air Force Art Gallery. Yeah. One of the most decorated members of the United States military. They took down the slavery information from the exhibit in Philadelphia. And Philadelphia had to sue to get it put back up. They removed information from the websites regarding Medgar Evers, Jackie Robinson, women veterans. In fact, they canceled the initiative every year, the program, where they laid a wreath for women veterans. They stopped doing it. They stopped doing it. These racists are so pathetic that under Biden, when they rename the various bases, like Fort Polk in Louisiana, which was named after a Confederate general, they named it for an African American who was the first American hero in World War I. It was renamed in 2023, Henry Johnson, Sergeant Henry Johnson. What did these racists do? Hegseth, they came in and it was like, okay, all right, so we're not going to rename it. We're not going to put the old names up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the military books and find somebody with the same last name and put their name on it. So Fort Polk is no longer named after the Confederate general. They went and found some four-star general named last name Polk and took the black man's name off. Now, this dude who is now named after, okay, he was a four-star general. He wasn't no war hero. He didn't win he did not win the Medal of Honor. But Henry Johnson did. His name was on the base for 2 years. They took it down. I mean, we can go on and on and on about all the anti-black stuff they've done. And J.D. Vance, well, I don't do. And see, this is where, I'm sorry, this is where the View, they should have had it line by line. And see, this is why, y'all, you can't speak in general terms. No, you got to hit them with this, federal judge restored it. Y'all made massive cuts to funding for black maternal health, and black women die at a rate 3.5 times faster than that of white women. Cuts to sickle cell anemia, cuts to other programs. See, you got to go line by line. You got to hit his ass with so many things where he just like, I don't know what to do. But he goes, surely those things are not true. We love black people. And y'all notice, see, y'all need to understand how racist these Republicans are. Their idea, oh no, we love black people. We attacked crime. Y'all hear that? Y'all see how they did that? See how he did that? When talking about the erasure of black people, he goes right back to, oh, no. We attack crime. They restored the portrait of racist General Robert E. Lee to West Point. I mean, we can just go on. We can do a roll call, Mustafa, and J.D. Vance is a flat-out hillbilly liar.
Yes, I mean, I was hoping they were going to also ask some of the questions about, before he became the vice president. He was very clear. He said that Donald Trump was a fraud. That's what he said. Not what I said, but what he said. He said that he was unfit to be president. That's what he said, not what I said. He said he was reprehensible. That's what he said. So, you can't call somebody else a fraud, but still stand in front of America and say that you have not been intentional in actually trying to erase all the hard gains that black folks have fought for, not erasing all of those grant programs and contracts and subcontracts opportunities that folks worked so hard for and still had a long way to go. You have, eliminated environmental justice programs. The one program that was actually focused on trying to make sure that our most vulnerable folks could actually breathe clean air and drink clean water. We can go down the laundry list of things, whether it's at HUD or the education department or at CDC or HHS, some of the things that you talked about. There is just a list of things that there's no way for you not to know the impacts that are going on. And then you go in and you strip the language out that you can't even say, disproportionate impacts or vulnerable populations or a number of other things that help people to understand who's the ones that are actually being most greatly impacted, who are the ones that are under attack, who are the ones whose life is being shortened, and who's the ones that are getting sick and then having no healthcare to be able to deal with some of those situations. So, he's disingenuous at best. Most folks would just say that he's lying. And coming from where he comes from, he should have a better understanding of what it's like to be oppressed and to be vulnerable and to be able to hopefully count on your government to do something to make sure that justice is a part of the process. But unfortunately, either it was already inside of him or because of the administration that he's currently working for, when he says that Donald Trump is a fraud, then we have to also look very hard at him and say, what is your definition of a fraud? Because you are starting to take on many of those characteristics that Webster would say, but maybe you have a different definition. So what is it?
He's a liar, pure and simple, Randy. And this is an anti-black administration, and the proof is all there in the pudding.
At one point, I thought he was dancing. I said, is he doing the snake? Because he was dodging the question so hard. I didn't know what was going on with the man. He did not tell anything that was truthful on that stage and could not at all answer the questions that were coming towards him, because he should be ashamed. If he were to answer them honestly, he knows that he would not feel comfortable with those answers. particularly considering that he does have a brown wife and children, although he seems to have forgotten that. You know, it's all a play of white supremacy. Most of us, everyone who's watching this show right now, if they think about their schooling, they were taught essentially that white people were the great writers, the great scientists, the great doctors, that white men did everything as far as we were concerned. And I know, you know, later on when I continued my education, I was so surprised to learn all the brilliant things that we had done that had been hidden from us. And we know if we don't think that someone has done it before, we don't necessarily believe we could do it ourselves. So knowing our history definitely affects our future. But that is classic in white supremacy. And that is what this administration is doing right now. They are taking things back where they are wiping away the great accomplishments of our ancestors, the many great things that they did in spite of the circumstances, in spite of white supremacy, in spite of racism. We have accomplished so much, but they don't want us to know that. And they undeniably have been very clear about taking everything down. When you look at, you know, our Museum of African American History, like you said, the parks in Philadelphia, although they had to sue to get those back up. Right now in the military, they're wiping out everybody's name who is Black, who's accomplished something, or really who's not white and male. They're trying to make it, because this is an administration run again on white supremacy, which is for white males. They're trying to make it that they are the only heroes that exist in this country. And it's definitely, it's just sick. And I really do wish they had pushed back even harder on him and given him specific examples, because it's very clear that they have a point-by-point plan to ensure that they tear apart anything Black, anything that we've had, and anything that we've been trying to accomplish going forward.
Thelma?
The one thing that I recognized as he was moving over and over, and I was like, oh, they got him by the ropes. And to think that they don't understand, or they don't care to understand, and they are upset that this country's history of excellence is built on the backs of African Americans, more than the mediocre white America that they love to remind us of each and every day as they continue to try to diminish us. But they understand that they have always, this is why they're mad, because their reality is not our reality. They have always been mediocre, dumb, with low IQs, and their DNA is based on hate. They stay mad because we built this country while our ancestors was being raped, both men and women. They murdered us, they stole from us, and we still had to find a way to rise above the ashes. But we didn't ask for that, and that's the one thing that they can't take. We didn't ask to be forced to be in this position. They forced us into it. And to have the audacity to be Black educated Negroes. That's way too much power. So when I see him sit on that stage and have this different outlook, and just not so long ago, you was talking about this man worse than we were. But this is the thing what I say about white people. And they get upset when I call them dumb, because any individual that cannot think for themselves and has to diminish their capacity to be accepted by their peers, and they can't stand alone, that is textbook white America. They set their ass at them tables behind closed doors to plot and plan to steal the identity of African Americans. They didn't do it with just a cigar and some whiskey. They did it at the expense of innocent kids that they don't want us to talk about. And I see immigrants who think that they are superior because they align with them. Y'all are in a worse position than we are. But when we're talking about erasing history, they can erase our history, because unlike them, we wasn't built on the hate in our DNA. So we're going to bounce back because that's what we had to be forced into. And you can't take that away. That's embedded in our DNA. And that's why they continue to try to displace us instead of praise us.
Well, absolutely. And listen, this is a continuing, I keep telling y'all, that's why I keep saying this is a GOP war on Black America. And J.D. Vance sits there and he knows he's lying, pure and simple. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
This is Essence Atkins.
What's the love king of R&B, Raheem Devon?
It's me, Sherry Shepard, and you know what you watch.
You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, so Knicks fans had not celebrated an NBA championship in 53 years. Hell, they ain't won nothing since the original Shaft came out. But they finally won, and boy, they are just beside themselves. Even though I wish they would shut the hell up and stop whining about Wemby and getting fouled. You won the damn championship. My God, shut up and move on and enjoy it. But let's talk what happened in California. Okay, a woman there, black woman, she's so excited her Knicks are winning. She's yelling, "Oh my God, oh my God." Her neighbors decided to call the cops. I don't understand what's wrong with her damn neighbors when you hear, "Oh my God, oh my God." It was either the Knicks or she was having great sex. I don't understand what the issue is. So they call the cops. A whole bunch of cops roll up, bust up in, they shoot her dog. They kill her dog. She was celebrating the Knicks winning. Yeah, seriously. Then they shot and killed her 2-year-old golden retriever, St. Bernard, and poodle mix named Jameson, who was wearing his Knicks shirt at the time. This is a video here. Turn the audio up.
The Calvary for this.
I can't.
Instead of you guys kill the dog and there's fucking drug dealers and shit outside, why don't you shoot those motherfuckers?
The Knicks just won the championship. We were just so happy. We were just celebrating the Knicks.
Instead of fucking getting a fucking piece of shit outside, you kill a fucking dog.
Oh God! Oh God! Jeremiah!
Why? Why?
Unnecessary.
Wow, where's this shit out?
What is the purpose of all of you?
Hey, good job. This is what we pay for. Amazing work, guys.
Oh my God! No!
Good shit.
Oh my God! Seriously?
What the
We're
fuck?
gone?
This is fucking pathetic.
Are you serious?
When there's fucking drug dealers, people stabbing each other outside for a fucking dog.
This is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely crazy. We didn't do anything. Oh my God, Jameson, no! Oh, jeez.
No. You're sorry? You did it.
Okay, all right, so listen to the reaction. It's stupid, okay? They released a statement, and they said that the following information is based on a preliminary and ongoing investigation, which continues to evolve as investigators interview witnesses, review physical and electronic records, and analyze forensic evidence. Y'all, they're describing the shooting of a dog. The department's understanding of the facts and circumstances may change as additional evidence is collected and analyzed. So, their statement reads, on June 13, 2026, y'all can go to the other graphic. On June 13, 2026, at around 8:55 p.m., Topanga Patrol Division police officers responded to a radio call for a, quote, screaming woman inside of an apartment unit located in the 7500 block of Jordan Avenue. The officers met with the person reporting, who directed the officers to the apartment unit. The officers contacted the resident in the apartment unit. While speaking with the resident, a large dog was by her side, barking at the officers. The officers asked her to secure the dog, and the resident closed her door momentarily. She reopened the door, and the dog exited the apartment. Once outside of the apartment, the dog charged at one of the officers, resulting in an officer-involved shooting. Los Angeles Department of Animal Sciences Services was notified, responded to the scene, and took custody of the deceased dog. The dog owner was at scene and cooperated with the investigation. Force Investigation Division. Investigators responded to the scene and are investigating this incident. Force Investigation Division. Investigators responded to the scene and are investigating the incident. No community members or officers were injured as a result of this incident. If the woman comes to the door and says, why are y'all at my door? I'm watching the NBA Finals. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm watching the game. How about you leave? Nope. They kill a dog. Now, now when the dog has been shot, they turn this thing into a memorial. They're raising money for this woman. This is literally just one of the most utterly ridiculous. This is an interview. Her name is Marie Marcel. Okay, so play the video that she did with Good Day LA.
I don't understand what happened. I don't understand why he had to get shot. I don't get it. He didn't do anything.
Jameson wasn't baring teeth. He wasn't growling. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't barking. He was just moving towards the officer.
My baby. He's my baby. It doesn't make any sense to me. I can't make sense of anything.
I mean, this is a crazy story, Thelma.
Yo, I am at a loss for words because if you know this kind of dog, these dogs are so comforting. They are easygoing. They don't bark literally at all. Like I have, Monty is over here and that's the style, that's the same type of dog. So there was no threat. That dog was not coming for them to be in fear of anything. And we are dealing with rogue, irresponsible officers. And unfortunately, what I am looking at in him and the dog having a black owner subjected him to being racially profiled as well. And that's what is coming off because there was no need for them to take out a gun and shoot a non-threatening dog. And then y'all standing around like, oops, what we did. The same way they stand around when they kill us. So it's like, what are y'all thinking? Who's training y'all? Who is giving y'all this mindset to shoot and kill any and everything that is associated with Black people? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like that dog was racially profiled because that dog had a Black owner.
It's crazy. I sit here and I'm like, How many of y'all rolled up there, Mustafa?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, you know how folks do. They want to show strength, and so they roll up in situations way too deep, and then all that energy, just starts to overtake situations instead of people using their minds and their hearts. I had a dog that looked like that when I was a little kid. It was the sweetest dog in the world. I just don't get it. I mean, for many people, their dog is a member of their family, right? So when you unalive that dog, it's like probably for that lady, like losing a child or a brother or a sister or whatever the situation might be. And the other thing of it is that if any of us did this in the state of California, it's up to 3 years that you can be given for either put in prison or jail. I think it's up to a $20,000 fine. And these individuals, that they'll get a chance to just walk away. Hopefully they weren't joking later on, but I've seen some things over the years that's just unhuman that people continue to do. But this was so unnecessary to take this lady's pet away. And I hope that the pressure is placed on them to be better and to do better so that no lives are taken. Whether it has to be an animal's life or people's lives, we got to stop being so trigger happy or so skittish. I mean, I can't even imagine, that dog came out and I'm like, so what was going on in your life that you felt that you needed to pull the trigger to take this dog's life? So, prayers up to her. Yep. And I hope she's able to heal.
Randy?
It shows really how racism definitely bleeds. I mean, the simple fact that it looked like 8 officers showing up for one woman that was screaming and a dog barking, 8 officers. It seems certainly their time could have been used better in other ways. And then the dog was simply a dog. A dog is going to bark when there are strangers around. That's what a dog is supposed to do. And a dog, particularly a friendly dog, is going to try to greet the visitors. But I do feel that when you have these officers and they are dealing with Black people, the stress is already heightened. They already come with the pressure up just because they see us as thugs. They don't see us as human. And his attitude had to have been very heightened because of the fact that he shot a dog, right? I mean, there had to be something wrong, and I believe. Again, it goes back to racism. Why were you so tense that you could not manage a dog? We are paying these people taxpayer money to bring peace to situations and certainly not kill our pets or our family members. I mean, that woman is never going to forget that, or the people around her. And those cops will most likely just get to walk away with no sort of repercussions, sadly. So yes, I do believe that these are, we say it all the time, but we have to do something to get these officers where they're not immediately in a heightened state just because they are dealing with Black people.
That's who they are, and this is exactly what they do. And there's a whole bunch of dog lovers in LA who are really pissed off with what is taking place. Before I go to my next story, let me just go ahead and say this here, because I see some of y'all in the chat. I don't give a damn what y'all think. I'm serious. Knicks fans are whiners. I don't see how you win the NBA championship 4-1, and y'all still bitching about it. Wemby, he's a cheater, he's too aggressive, they didn't call enough fouls. You literally won. Seriously, Knicks fans, shut the fuck up. Damn. I mean, that's all I see. Group chats, text, on social. Like, you literally won. Who cares? They didn't call certain fouls that you thought they should call. Shut up. You won. Enjoy. See, this right here is why many of us didn't want to see the Knicks win. Because, see, Knicks fans actually have been on crack for the last 53 years. They swear they the best team. They swear, oh, New York is the Mecca, and they hadn't won in 53 years. This is precisely why people didn't want Knicks fans to win, because y'all won't shut up and just enjoy the damn win. Anybody panel, y'all can go ahead. Damn, these Knicks fans get on my damn nerves.
I just hope my family from New York is not watching right now.
But I don't care. Listen, when my Rockets beat the Knicks ass, y'all remember, in 95, okay, when my teams won, listen, when my Astros lost in the World Series, when that Washington Nationals dude looked up and hit a home run, I'm not sitting there going, oh my God, like, he hit that pitch. Yo, hey, he hit a hard pitch. They won the World Series. Damn, we won 2, we lost 2. But damn, they are still complaining about some shit that happened in the series that they won, Thelma.
But Roland, part of the New York culture is to have a little chip on your shoulder.
Well, guess what? You don't need it. You just, okay, listen, you just won the chip. So shut the fuck up. You just won it. Go get your Knicks World Champion shirts and hats and shut up.
That's not New York.
Listen, but even more so, when we look at how they was doing, San Antonio has one of the most peaceful basketball teams and fans. They don't like arguing. They don't do none of that. And y'all in New York attacking them when y'all won the game too? I'm just like, New York, come on now. Like, y'all are embarrassing the state of New York with that behavior. Like, you won, you want to beat people up for having on a jersey, you win the title, you're still mad, you're still aggressive, like you're yelling at the TV, you're yelling at yourself, you're yelling at your baby. I'm like, is y'all okay? Do y'all need a tranquilizer?
Okay, here, we'll stop. Look at this person. Alex and Razor Jackson, not rolling. Oh, he could have caused serious injury to not only the Knicks players, but other players in the playoffs. He's a dirty player. First of all, no Knicks fan should ever call somebody else dirty when y'all had Charles Oakley, who fought everybody, and Anthony Mason, who fought everybody, and Xavier McDaniel, who fought everybody on your team. Y'all need to be quiet.
Been some bruisers who play for the Knicks. There ain't no doubt about that. I mean, most of the Knicks fans that I know, and I also care about the Knicks, just taking the W and getting prepared for next year, because people going to come for you. So that's where the focus needs to be, because anybody who's a true sports fan understands that the game is rough. It ain't as rough as it used to be, but it's still rough. And you're going to get some calls and other calls you aren't. And that's why you got to just make sure you got a tight game. So shout out to the brothers who were able to, make sure that they brought that win home. And that's what folks should be focused on. We talk about Black joy. We can just talk about Knicks joy. Make sure that you're embracing it because next year is going to be more difficult. It's going to be more difficult to hold the players because, some folks will be up for contract negotiations. So be focused on the moment. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
And just get ready.
And all these fools saying your team lost. I ain't no San Antonio Spurs fan. I'm from Houston, okay? So let's be real clear. I didn't give a damn. I didn't. Now, the reason I would have rather seen the Spurs win is precisely because y'all whining ass New York Knicks people. It's precisely it, okay? So be like Spike Lee, enjoy the win, but stop bitching and moaning and, oh my God, they should have called more fouls. They were going to hurt Jalen and all my, it's just stupid. Like, literally, go get your little championship hat, go get your little championship jersey, get ready to go to your little parade and be happy. But just shut up and stop whining about what happened in a series that you won 4 games to 1. Seriously. Shut up. I'll be back. All right,
folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
Hey, what's up? It's Sammy Roman.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, y'all, time to talk about crazy-ass racist white people. A white racist in Illinois got what was coming for him after yelling racial slurs at a 9-year-old black boy. 29-year-old Jeffrey Feigenbaum has been charged with 2 felony counts of hate crime along with misdemeanor battery and disorderly conduct. According to prosecutors, this racist confronted the child on Saturday after a dispute involving children building a fort. Authorities say he came out of a home, called the young boy the N-word, pushed him, and then threw his bike as the boy tried to run away. Feigenbaum's next court appearance is scheduled for July 13th. Now, how about this one? In North Carolina, a former state rep just showed his complete ass when he just objected to Juneteenth.
First of all, I want to address this thing about Juneteenth. I don't support it because it is based on a lie. People were not set free by the Emancipation Proclamation. And that general or whoever he was that told people in Texas that they'd been set free on June 19th, maybe he had just set them free, but it wasn't because of the Emancipation Proclamation. It only applied to Southern Confederate states and territories. It did not apply to the slaves in Union states. That's why General Grant, who could have set his wife's slaves free at any time, refused to do so until the 13th Amendment was passed in December. It was passed in June, but was finally ratified and became law in December, I believe it was December 18th of 1865, 8 months after the war was over and Lincoln was dead. If you want to celebrate the slaves being set free, I want to celebrate with you. But get the right date, December 18th, 1865 is when that actually happened. Okay? Now, my wife and I went to the state GOP convention this weekend, and she's on the executive committee. They had their meeting yesterday, and so she was in the meeting, and I was standing in the back because I'm not on that executive committee. And this very nice black gentleman came up to me to talk to me and thank me for things I had said in the convention and to solicit my support for him to replace Secretary Troxler as Secretary of Labor. And after we talked, I'm glad to say I will support him. But when this stuff came up about Juneteenth, while he and I were back there quietly talking, I told him about my objections to it and why I objected and how it ought to be in December, not Juneteenth. And he agreed with me because he's a reasonable man. He understood the truth that I was telling him. Okay, now, moving on to the transparency statement. I wanted to pass that. There's a lot of good in that statement that I agree strongly with. There were a couple of things to which I objected, And so I offered to the board members an amended version to correct those things. And it was my understanding we were going to consider that amended version and do it tonight. I found out today we're not going to. I wish I could have gotten that amended version before us, because I would have voted for that. As it was written with the things I had to object to, I'm going to have to vote no. But one of the things that I said yesterday, or not yesterday, but Saturday during the state convention that got a huge response, and that's one of the things this gentleman came up to me to talk about, was you keep hearing all this garbage about elected officials being leaders. And I told the convention, I'm sick and tired of hearing people call elected officials leaders. We are supposed to be public servants. That's all I've ever tried to be as an elected official. I didn't want this job. Everybody knows that. But so many people insisted on it that I ran. And I got the job, and I'm trying to do it the best I can. But I don't want to support anything based on a lie. And I am willing to hear people. But I appreciate if you didn't attack somebody you don't really know about stuff about which you know nothing. You don't know me, you people who want to attack me, or any of the rest of us up here. And you may know some of them, I don't know if you do or not. But true history is important. Not what an elitist point of view forces to be taught in schools and ignores the real truth of what happened.
Then do you admit this?
And my son, hey, it is not your turn, sir. My son graduated from Wingate University with a degree in history. And I've talked to him about some of these things, and from his studies, he confirms to me exactly what I've learned by going beyond textbooks and looking at other sources. A lot of these things I learned by doing that when I was a kid. And it makes me sick what passes for history that is falsehood. And I will not just sit by and take it. I guess I've said enough.
Yeah. My rights come from
You've said enough, boy.
Boy. What do you mean, boy?
I mean, you act immature.
Commissioner Wortman.
All right, y'all. So you're right. We don't know who you are, Larry Pittman, but we know you're stupid. I mean, they shouldn't be celebrated on June 19th. It should be celebrated in December. Yeah, Larry, we know the Emancipation Proclamation freed those enslaved in Confederate states. Yeah, we know that. We already know that. Well, General Granger, he didn't really free the slaves when he got to Texas. Well, actually, he did, because Texas was a Confederate state. Like, really? Like, really? I mean, oh, my God. The stupidity of these people is crazy. And let's just be real clear here. Thelma, I don't think for a second this fool even support Juneteenth, period. Whether it was Juneteenth or whether it was December 18th or whatever the hell you call it.
This is a continuation of the stupidity that comes out of these ignorant, lost, low IQ souls. Like, the audacity. They don't want African Americans to have anything. We wouldn't even need a Juneteenth if y'all didn't put us in slavery. We wouldn't even need a Juneteenth if y'all would be godly. So you're mad because your people put us in a position to now have to celebrate our freedom? Are you kidding me? I'm like, they want to rewrite history and they don't even know the fucking real history. And that would be just pissing me off with them, because it's right there. It's in black and white. But this is the thing with the trickery and the rewriting narratives to make them feel comfortable in the hate that is embedded in their DNA. Like, sir, it's a lot of other things that's going on in this country, and you arguing about Juneteenth because y'all had to free us? Oh, be fucking for real.
Randy, my son majored in history at Wingate, so I know what I'm talking about.
I think that's probably about as much knowledge as he has, is that somebody told him somewhere over dinner. The only accurate thing that he said during that speech was, I think I've said enough. That was about it. Everything else he said was a bunch of crap. And you know what really disturbs me is when white people always want to put up one black person as a spokesman for us. If they can find one black person that agrees with them, they think that they have proven it right, that this person has spoken for all black people and they have approved of my hidden racism, so it's okay. That always just drives me absolutely nuts when they do that. But then the end where he ended it with boy, he you know, his racism completely, you know, he was trying to hold it back.
Yeah, I don't know if he was talking to somebody black or white in the audience. I don't know. We couldn't see it. But I'm just saying.
It's a charged racial word, though, regardless. No. He would use the term boy during that conversation.
I understand that. What I'm saying, though, if it's reference to a black person, is different than it is a reference to somebody white. I just don't. I'm just like, dude, really? This is like, we're whining because, well, no, slavery was officially abolished with the 13th Amendment being ratified. I mean, the 14th Amendment. Boy, sit down. Sit down. I'm like, gone. 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, Reconstruction Amendments. Well, yeah, it wasn't officially ratified. So then you could make the argument, well, when Congress passed it, but then the states had to ratify it. Please. And this way he also don't know the hell he's talking about, because again, and this is also for a whole bunch of black people too, who complain about Juneteenth. I just want to help all y'all out, okay? I'm from Texas. We don't give a damn if y'all don't like Juneteenth. Let me say this right now. This is for anybody. I see these Negroes, we didn't ask for Juneteenth to be a federal holiday. But go sit your ass down. Some of us did. I just want to remind all y'all who don't know shit, okay? Those of us in Texas didn't ask y'all permission. Black Texans created Juneteenth. Let me be real clear. Black Texans created Juneteenth because it happened on June 19th, 1865. The celebrations happened in Texas. On June 7th, 1979, it's when my frat brother, then State Representative Al Edwards, got it passed in the last hour of legislative session. The first year it was celebrated as a state holiday was June 19th, 1980. So all y'all people who run y'all mouths, again, Juneteenth is specific to Texas. The reason it's a national holiday is because it then represents the only, let me be clear, even for the melanated fools who run their mouths, Juneteenth is the only public federal recognition of slavery in this country. There is no other day, no other event that acknowledges the original sin of slavery. So the people who don't like Juneteenth need to rethink their perspective on this, because that's what it also does. Mustafa, go ahead.
You know, I'm glad you raised the last point because, you know, for all of our folks, we just have to understand how much work, blood, sweat, and tears that goes into being able to bring forward to the country, you know, what formerly enslaved people had to go through. It puts a spotlight on it. It helps to make sure that no one can ever, you know, kind of just walk away from it, because this country loves not just to erase things, but to never ever take responsibility. So it is an opportunity to make sure, you know, that all the things that were tied up in slavery are brought forward, but also how we celebrate. and how our Black joy moves forward and our Black excellence and many of the things that we often talk about. The last thing that I'll say is when that person was talking, all I could hear was Forrest Gump saying, "Stupid is as stupid does." And it just kept reverberating in my head, because when we allow these individuals to say untruthful things, whether it's through misinformation or disinformation, we do a disservice to all of our ancestors who poured so much into helping us to be seen, helping us to be honored. So we should always remember that and stay engaged in the process, because if you don't, the narrative will continue to change, and it will never be a narrative that is truthful about who we are and all that we have been through and all that we have contributed.
And again, I just want, and Mustafa just said this, I need everybody to understand. This is the only day out of 365 days, this is the only day annually where national media and everybody has to mention slavery. Let me say it again. They got to mention it. You cannot discuss Juneteenth and you don't mention slavery. Just for y'all who are all hot and bothered, who can't stand it. And again, stop it. And also for some history, and we're going to have his son, Al Edwards Jr., on the show either tomorrow or Thursday. When it got passed, Representative Al Edwards, now deceased, traveled to legislatures all across the country trying to get them to follow up. So one of the reasons Juneteenth spread, so let me just to be clear, Al Edwards is the father of Juneteenth. Opal Lee, folks will call her the grandmother of Juneteenth. But let's be clear. Without what Representative Al Edwards did in Texas, June 7th, 1979, in fact, my parents at their church, it was a sister who stood up. She actually moved to Texas A&M together, and she was reading the history of Juneteenth. I told my mom, I'm like, how she just skipped over the fact it was a state holiday in Texas? So I had to let her know after service, sister, you left a couple of details out. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. But again, without what Representative Al Edwards did on June 7, 1979, you wouldn't have a national holiday. So let's just be real clear how these things happen. It does not take away from Opal Lee walking across the country and all this sort of stuff and her advocacy, but Juneteenth is a Texas thing. That's the whole point of it. And so I don't want to hear what little Larry Pittman got to say in North Carolina. Just sit down, be quiet, and shut up. We got this. All right, y'all. Time for Black Star Network headlines with Brittany Noble.
A Mississippi police officer killed a 1-year-old toddler and seriously injured another person after shooting at a vehicle while responding to a shoplifting call. Sunday, the child, Cohen Wiley, was in the car along with his mother and a friend after they left a Walmart in Senatobia. According to investigators, the vehicle began driving towards the officers as they attempted to stop it. An officer reportedly then shot at the vehicle as it almost hit another officer. The two women then drove to a hospital where Cohen was pronounced dead. The Senatobia Police Department released a statement saying the incident is under investigation and has been turned over to the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. Cohen Wiley's family and community advocates are now seeking legal representation. The daughter of a black man killed on a hijacked Gwinnett County, Georgia bus in 2024 has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Gwinnett County, the city of Atlanta, and others. Jasmine Bird claims the defendant should have done more on that day to stop her father's death. 58-year-old Ernest Bird Jr. was shot when 39-year-old Joseph Greer allegedly hijacked a bus on June 12, 2024 in downtown Atlanta, triggering a 45-minute high-speed chase that ended in DeKalb County. Bird Jr. and Greer got into an argument, and Greer allegedly pulled out a gun before threatening all passengers, shooting Bird, and ordering the bus operator to drive at gunpoint. The lawsuit names the bus operator, who is listed as John Doe, as one of the defendants. Bird and her attorneys say the driver should have done more to prevent things from escalating on the bus. The lawsuit also states the named defendants failed to protect the passengers and did not properly train personnel for passenger safety. An investigation into a burning cross found in Chicago's Grant Park has led to police detaining a person of interest. Although authorities have not confirmed an identity, 21-year-old college senior Merlin Liu told a Chicago news station he was behind the June 9th incident.
It came up to my head one day. I wanted to find something that I could do by myself, like no organization, no friends, no. I did know about this historical relevance beforehand, but I didn't know the severity, how racially motivated it may seem from what I did, because my protest has nothing to do with race, nothing to do with gender.
Should you have done it some other way?
Yeah, probably.
The FBI and the Chicago police are still investigating the incident and determining what charges, if any, will be filed. The fast food chain Wingstop has fired one of its Virginia employees after a racial slur appeared on a black customer's order. Nita Sutherland went to Wingstop in Fairfax County on Friday to buy her 7-year-old grandson a meal. She said she clearly provided her first name, spelling it out as Nita, when placing the order, but instead she said that a racial slur appeared where her name should have been on the order stickers attached to her food bags. Nita also said the same slur also appeared on the restaurant's food preparation progress screen. Sutherland said the manager told her the employee didn't mean anything by it and that the employee returned to work without apologizing. Sutherland spoke about how the incident made her feel as a black woman.
I'm glad they're fired because they shouldn't have put it on the screen. It's more they could have did. They didn't try to help us. They were dismissive. And they need to understand racial profiling and racism is not accepted.
Wingstop's corporate office said in a statement that the company does not tolerate discrimination and hateful behavior. Sutherland said she was pleased they fired the employee, but believes that more should have been done in response to the incident. And in Texas, a parole supervisor is out of a job after she made a social media post supporting Carmelo Anthony. Donna Robinson, who has spent a decade working for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, was fired on Friday after responding to a post online wondering how Anthony was doing since being convicted of the murder of Austin Metcalf. She replied, "I am a parole supervisor at Texas DCJ. Carmelo will be okay." Robinson insisted that Anthony would be protected while he served his 35-year prison sentence. She went on to share her thoughts on the Metcalf family and the case. "I, for one, don't give a F about the family's loss. It's about time these effing bigots feel the pain that they have inflicted on other groups of people since the beginning of time." Anthony, who is black, was convicted earlier this month of the killing of Metcalf, who is white, at a high school track meet earlier last year. Both were 17 years old at the time. TDCJ terminated Robinson shortly after the comment, saying TDCJ employment carries significant public trust and requires decisions free from personal bias. And Jay-Z sparked criticism from some fans after announcing a partnership with Target to celebrate the 30th anniversary of his Reasonable Doubt album. Target will release special collector's editions of the vinyl along with collectibles. Now, the backlash comes from criticism Target faced in 2025 after scaling back several diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Some social media users accused Jay-Z of steering Black consumer spending back to a company that they still view as controversial. Others see the partnership as a standard business deal. Roland, back to you.
All right, folks, be sure to catch the breakdown of Brittany Noble every day noon Eastern on the Black Star Network. The breakdown with Brittany Noble every day noon Eastern on the Black Star Network. Folks, police brutality captured on camera in Suffolk County where police used excessive force on a Medford resident, Craig Manning, during a traffic stop in New York. On April 2nd, an unmarked police vehicle pulled Manning over for a routine traffic stop. Suffolk County police officers repeatedly asked for his license and registration, but he refused, asking to speak to a supervisor. They refuse, and then they get out of the car. After his arrest, the mugshot showed a visible gash across his forehead. Manning's attorney argues the arrest should have never been made. Critics argue Manning should have just complied. Suffolk County police failed to comment due to pending litigation. Manning says he will move forward with his lawsuit against the Suffolk County Police Department. Roll the video. Do we not have the audio? Okay. So what was interesting about this, again, you hear him specifically asking for He specifically is asking for a supervisor. This is a video here that was actually posted on the social. Listen.
No. Yeah, get out of the car. Oh, right now. What are you gonna do?
Why don't we have audio?
No. Get out. No. Yes, you're going under arrest now. I'm going under arrest? Are you having fun? Punch me again. Punch me again.
Stop resisting.
Punch me again. Stop resisting. Punch me again. Get out of the car. Punch me again. Get out of the car. Punch me again. Punch me again. Get out of the car. Punch me again.
This was unnecessary, unreasonable use of force.
Attorney Fred Brewington says his client, Craig
That was from
Manning...
Wins, 1010 Wins, the radio station. And the videos, it was crazy. I saw this last week on social media. And I'm just sitting here trying to understand, again, if the man asks for a supervisor, like, what's the problem? And also, was it that major? I don't understand. See, this is what we keep talking about all the time, Thelma. Routine traffic stops lead to craziness. Happens all the time.
You are absolutely correct, Roland, and I've had my fair share of these kind of encounters with officers who escalate because they don't care about de-escalating. When you ask a simple question, in every policy manual for police officer, police location, law enforcement organizations, it says if they ask for a supervisor, you have to call a supervisor. So just by words alone did not warrant that kind of behavior from an officer. But what it shows is his lack of temperament, his lack of self-control, his lack of professionalism, and his lack of decency. Because anyone in that situation would not have went from 0 to 1,000. But he did that because an African-American man asked for a supervisor. How dare you ask for a supervisor? I'm the one that's in authority. You don't need I do need your supervisor because of what you did here. And that's what needs to be untrained in the minds of these individuals. But it's too late. We're going to continue to see this escalate as we continue with this administration. And unfortunately, we have to continue to document these things. And now we become a viral moment because we asked for a supervisor.
Newsday actually ran a video of him. And so this is what the folks at Newsday reported.
Going under arrest?
You're watching dash cam video from Craig Manning's car. The Suffolk County man says he was beaten by 5 Suffolk police officers following a traffic stop. Manning is now suing Suffolk Police in Suffolk County, claiming police misconduct, unreasonable and unnecessary use of force, and a violation of his constitutional rights.
I feared for my life and never once attempted to harm an officer.
It happened on Horse Block Road in Farmingville on April 2nd. Manning says he was pulled over by 2 officers for allegedly making an illegal left turn. Manning says he asked to speak to a supervisor and refused to give the officers his driver's license and registration.
I will never forget the look on the officer's face, full of disgust. I was immediately fearful. As a black man, I have seen and experienced that look before.
Stop resisting! Stop resisting! In the video, Officer Robert Rufrano and Officer Samantha Skipon repeatedly yelled, "Stop resisting" at Manning. Both officers tried to pull Manning out of the car, while Rufrano punched him in the face several times. 3 other cops who arrived at the scene later also allegedly punched Manning.
I thought the abuse wouldn't stop.
In the police report, Rufrano said he, quote, struck the subject in the head with the closed fist in order to handcuff Manning. The report doesn't say anything about the several punches he landed on Manning's head and face, as shown in the video. Manning was charged with resisting arrest and traffic violations after the alleged assault. The charges were later dismissed.
Okay, now here's what's crazy to me, Mustafa. You pulled him over for an illegal U-turn. That's all it was. That's all it was. If I'm a cop, my man's got a dash cam video and he's recording on his phone. That was his dash cam video. That was Manning's dash cam video. I'm like, you sit here and say, all right, man, you want to waste time? We're going to call a supervisor. I'm not, but see, this is what these cops do when they cross the line. It happens over and over and over again.
Yeah, and often it escalates into deadly situations, or it can escalate into deadly situations. So everybody, remember the video you just saw. It wasn't just a police officer, inflicting this violence with a fist or an open hand. He also had those handcuffs, and those handcuffs were being used almost like brass knuckles. And that's the reason you saw that gentleman being cut up like that. So if you look right now, you can see the handcuffs that are there that are open, and they will cut you up. So he could have lost his eye, or a number of other things that could happen in this situation. All you have to do is de-escalate. Wait for the supervisor. The supervisor will then, direct folks on how to proceed. But once again, mayors, county commissioners, these different folks who are going to have to be a part of paying these folks who have been brutalized by police. So there will be retribution in the sense that this individual, of course, will bring forward that civil case. And we've seen it a few times across our country where, folks are then your tax dollars, because folks are not doing the right thing, will have to pay. So as I always say, if they want to do hateful things, if they want to do things that are not a part of the process, hit them in the pockets, because that's the only thing that seems to get their attention is when, they got to pay.
Randy?
It's unfortunate that we live in a country that's this violent, where cops are supposed to be someone that we call for help, and we certainly don't expect that we will be attacked by him. There is no police academy that is teaching that you punch someone in the face repeatedly to get them to comply. But what I will say is we have to be realistic about the country we do live in, and I love the fact that he had a car cam, and I would have, anybody who's able to do it, I would absolutely have one in my car these days. These people are out of control. I mean, he couldn't even control himself when he knew that he was being recorded. So I think that we have to be absolutely proactive to the real situation that we have in this country. And if you're able, not just have our car phones, but I would always, particularly a Black male, have it where what happens in my car is being recorded. Because sadly, it's dangerous out there for us.
Yep. Indeed, indeed. All right, y'all, got to go to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
With medicine and science under attack, I want to keep you and your family informed and healthy. I'm Dr. Ebony Hilton, and I knew at the age of 8 that I wanted to be a doctor. So I studied hard and became the first African-American female anesthesiologist hired at the Medical University of South Carolina since its opening in 1824. And I always say I was made into a doctor, but I was born to be a mom. And as a new mom, wife, sister, daughter, and friend, I understand how frightening a medical crisis can be. I care for individuals on some of the worst days of their lives, and it's my mission to provide you with a safe space to gain clarity on issues affecting your mind, body, and soul. I recognize that there are health disparities, particularly as it pertains to race, and I want to help bridge the gap between you and your healthcare providers. Join me every Thursday for Second Opinion on the Black Star Network, where each week I'll invite experts from various medical fields to share the latest health news. We'll discuss topics such as the vaccine debate, mental and sexual health, medical bias, infertility, menopause, andropause, nutrition, and aging. Together with my medical colleagues, we aim to provide you with a second opinion. Don't miss it, Thursdays only on the Black Star Network.
Farquhar, executive producer, Proud Family. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, today was the primary in Georgia, and of course, there were a number of races that were in the runoff. And so let's go to WSB TV's website. You see here where, first of all, a small percentage in the U.S. Senate race, Republicans, Mike Collins. Congressman Mike Collins is leading Derek Dooley. Very narrow race here. We're really paying attention to this governor's race because Rick Jackson, self-funded, really was pushed by Governor Brian Kemp. He is winning against Burt Jones, who was endorsed by Donald Trump. So that's really going to be a proxy as to who holds more power in Georgia, Donald Trump or Governor Brian Kemp. In the Secretary of State's race, we all know Penny Reynolds. She is leading Dana Barrett. Again, only 46 of 2,585 precincts are reporting. You've got House races that are going on as well on the Republican side. You got the Public Service Commission, also Lieutenant Governor for Republicans, Greg Dolezal, John Kennedy, Lieutenant Governor for the Democrats, Josh McLaurin, and Nabila Parks. Was a sister, state school superintendent. You got the Fulton County Commissioner's Chair, which is pitting incumbent Rob Pitts against County Commissioner Mo Ivory. And early results shows Ivory is up against Pitts. You got the Insurance Commissioner race, Keisha Shawn Waits versus DeAndre Mathis, Labor Commissioner Nikki Porcher versus Michelle Sanchez. I'm watching the Secretary of State race, Tim Fleming versus Vernon Jones. Vernon Jones is that black maggot who is one of the most despicable individuals. I can't wait to see him get his ass kicked in that race. And so, absolutely, I don't give a damn about who wins Secretary of State for Republican side. But Vernon Jones, yeah, I would love to see that punk lose. And then, of course, you have all these other local races, school board races, commission races, all of these races here. Again, this is the runoff races for the general election. And so we will have the final results tomorrow right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Time for shopblackstarnetwork.com. Okay. All right, then. So our guest is not there yet. Let me do this here. Let's go back and talk about the Georgia race here. I'll start with you, Randy. Earlier, I was looking and early poll out good news for former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. But again, it's very early. The bottom line is this for her to win. Of course, she's running. You got Senator John Ossoff running for re-election. They're going to need a massive, massive, massive turnout in Georgia for her to win. Ossoff, of course, won when they ran in 2020. In his early polls it shows she's up, depending upon who wins today. But it's just early as hell. And at the end of the day, it's going to be ground game. Everything points to ground game and really being able to lock up votes outside of the large metro areas in Georgia.
Yes. Yeah, and it is early, but one thing I will say about Georgians that I had just watched them, over this last decade, they do show up. They are involved, and you don't know exactly what you're going to get because it's been a state that has been changing, and so you don't know how things are going to turn out. I mean, I always keep my eyes on Georgia, and I do want to add that I too am hoping that Van loses and loses sorely, loses badly, gets his butt whooped, is what I'm hoping for, which is what's been happening to these Black Republicans that sold their soul for Trump, and Trump doesn't end up backing them up or supporting them whatsoever. And they see that these Republicans also aren't going to back them up because these people are not for Black people. So I don't know why they think they're going to vote them into office, regardless of how anti-Black these Black people are. But yeah, I'm very interested to continue watching these races tonight.
Mustafa?
I mean, for quite a while now, Georgia has been an incredibly important state. Folks have been, doing the work there. We know that there needs to be more resources poured into the area. When I used to talk with folks like Congressman Sanford Bishop and some other folks, he would always say, we've got to focus on these rural communities. There are Black folks who are all over the state who often don't have someone come have a conversation, and other members in the rural community as well. So people who are serious, let me say it again, people who are serious about winning in Georgia, yes, we got to make sure that you hold on to those urban strongholds, but you got to be out there in rural communities also listening to what their sets of concerns are and what their priorities are, and being able to address that as well. So it's going to be an exciting time, not only watching the results come in, over the next 24 hours as people count those all up, but also getting prepared for November. And then, of course, in 2028 as well, Georgia will play a critical role in helping to, determine the direction that this country is going to go.
Thelma? All right, we don't have Thelma? Okay. All right, folks. So also, this just in, if you want to know how crazy this administration is, and when I say crazy, just absolutely, positively insane. Elon Musk's data center in Mississippi is being sued. Okay? The Trump Department of Justice wants to jump into the lawsuit citing national security concerns, saying Elon Musk's company played a crucial role in the Iran war. It also argued it has the authority to stop environmental lawsuits brought by citizens. Mustafa, what the hell? I mean, there's so basically the Trump Department of Justice now works for Elon Musk. This is the lead in the New York Times. In an unusually aggressive move, the Justice Department told a federal court in Mississippi that Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company, XAI, has the right to run dozens of polluting gas-burning turbines in the state despite not having permits for them. The suit was brought by the NAACP, saying the turbines violate the Clean Air Act. And they're like, yeah, he can go ahead and do it.
Well, no, he's not supposed to be able to do it. And legally, it is against the law. It's against the rules of the Clean Air Act. And folks should understand. So when you see these AI data centers, they're often, powered by natural gas, or sometimes there's a couple of other fossil fuels that are used in that space. We're trying to get more, if you're going to have them, using solar or wind or a number of other things. But there's huge amounts of pollution that's going into these communities, and it is to be regulated. So no. And the other part is the Department of Justice is supposed to be defending the people of the United States and not these corporations. But we know that we are living in a time when, the branches of government are no longer doing their job. They're doing the bidding of this administration. They're doing the bidding of corporations. And folks need to be able to make sure that they are speaking out and letting their elected officials know how they feel about this, because the states have their own laws, and they also, do their own sets of inspections. And as you said, the most important thing there was that you got to have a permit. And if you don't have that, then things should be shut down.
Randy, the New York Times said the suit threatens, the DOJ said the suit threatens national security by, quote, seeking to shut off the power supply for artificial intelligence innovation that supports the Department of War's military operations. According to the memo, which was signed by Stanley Woodward Jr., Associate Attorney General and the number 3 official of the department, the memo also argued that this was like why these people on crack. The memo also argued that the federal government should have unchallenged authority to stop environmental lawsuits brought by private groups or individuals. What the hell?
That's it right there. That is it right there. Trump believes that he should have unchallenged authority. I can't believe they're saying it aloud. I can't believe they're putting it in print, but they absolutely have run this government as if no one should question them. They should be able to do what they want. And what they want is to place these data centers, typically in neighborhoods where they're us living there, right? Because they're terrible for the environment. They pull on the energy sources, they pull on the water supply. And they create terrible pollution for us. And so, of course, they're going to put these centers in neighborhoods and hurt our environments as they always have. I mean, Mustafa could speak far more about the environmental injustices that we must face, but they don't want to be challenged. It is so frightening to me that there are no brakes on this out of control car, which is exactly what the Justice Department is supposed to be. That is what they're supposed to serve, the arm that is supposed to regulate the other arms, but they just are not doing it because they're doing the bidding of Trump. And so everyone should be quite terrified right now, but it does not mean that we should be inactive. We should continue to make noise, be loud, and I am happy that people are still, putting out these lawsuits. Sue them, keep suing them.
It is insane what they're doing. All right. That's it, folks. We're going to reschedule our shopblackstarnetwork.com segment. Let me thank Randy, Mustafa, and Thelma for being on today's show. Certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And I want to thank all of y'all for watching as well. Hey, folks, don't forget to support the work that we do. If you want to join our Bring the Funk fan club, our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. You support this show and the 5 other shows here on the Black Star Network. If you want to contribute via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see the QR code right here. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com. Also, of course, if you want to send check and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung Smart TV. You want to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered swag? All you got to do is go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Hats, T-shirts, all that good stuff. Shopblackstarnetwork.com. If you want to support our black-owned businesses, go there as well. All the products you see right here in our studio are available in our marketplace right there at shopblackstarnetwork.com. All right, folks, that is it. I'll see you tomorrow right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla!